Let me ask you something that most people will never dare to ask out loud. What if the pleasure you're chasing is the very thing killing your soul? What if every swipe, every fantasy, every moment you surrender to lust is not just a harmless indulgence, but a slow, silent poison, eating away at the deepest part of who you are? Today, we're not just talking about lust as a feeling or a fleeting urge. We're talking about how lust, unchecked and misunderstood, can hollow out your spirit, no matter your faith, your philosophy, or your background. I know what it's like. I felt the ache, the hunger that masquerades as desire, the late-night scrolling, the endless cycle of reaching for something, someone, anything to fill the void. It's a hunger that never ends, a thirst that only grows the more you try to quench it. And if you're honest, you've felt it too. That emptiness, not just after, but during, the realization that what you're chasing isn't pleasure, but escape. In this video, we're going to rip the mask off lust. We'll explore how it kills the soul, not just in religious terms, but in the language of psychology, philosophy, and lived experience. We'll confront the lies we tell ourselves, the wounds we try to numb, and the spiritual starvation that drives us to consume what can never satisfy. We'll look at how lust is a universal human struggle, how it destroys our ability to love, to create, to connect, and how it leaves us more alone than we ever imagined possible. So before you scroll away, ask yourself, what have you really been craving all along? Is it pleasure or is it the feeling of being whole? Drop your answer in the comments and stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might see your cravings, your soul, and your life in a way you never have before. Let's begin with the raw truth. Lust is not about pleasure, it's about escape. Carl Jung, the legendary psychologist, saw this long before the world was ready to admit it. He wrote, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." Lust is the most seductive escape of all. It's not just a physical urge. It's a desperate attempt to run from boredom, pain, loneliness, and the aching silence inside your own heart. You tell yourself you want her, him, them. But what you really want is to feel alive, to feel held, to feel seen. You want to feel something, anything, beneath the surface of this empty, performative life. But instead of turning inward, you chase the body, the image, the surge of dopamine that disappears as quickly as it comes. And the moment it's over, you're left with the same void, the same silence, the same self, untouched and unhealed. Look around, the world says it's normal. Everyone does it. Just one more scroll, one more fantasy, one more body to imagine. But if you're honest with yourself, really honest, you'll feel it too. The emptiness, the grief for something you can't even name. Lust is not the enemy, it's the symptom. It's your soul trying to get your attention. Because beneath that craving is something much deeper, disconnection. You're not connected to your body, your purpose, your emotions, your true self. So you reach for the easiest substitute, the illusion of closeness, the illusion of control, the illusion of being wanted. Jung would say, this is the shadow in action. The part of you that was never loved in the right way now searches for love in all the wrong ways. It's not just about sex. It's about all the ways you run, compulsive texting, porn at 2 a.m., meaningless conversations that feel almost intimate, the constant mental replay of someone who made you feel desired once. But what you're really doing is avoiding the loneliness that lives under your skin. Because to sit with it, to really feel it, is to admit that you don't just want release. You want rescue from your own isolation, from your own numbness, from your own buried needs that you were never allowed to have. Jung saw this in his patients, people who came to him not with sexual issues, but with spiritual hunger disguised as desire. He didn't moralize, he didn't judge. He went deeper because he knew the real question was, why do I feel lust? But what is this lust trying to distract me from? And that is the question you have to ask yourself now. Because if you don't, you will keep feeding the craving but never touch the wound. You will keep chasing bodies but never feel intimacy. You will keep fantasizing but never feel seen. You will keep finishing but never feel whole. So what happens when you let lust take over? It doesn't just distort your desires. It fractures your soul. Every time you indulge in lust without consciousness, you strengthen the complex behind it. A psychological loop, trigger, reaction, relief, guilt, repeat. The more you repeat it, the more you believe this is just who you are. But it's not. It's who you became after you stopped feeling safe in your own skin. You weren't born addicted to bodies. You were born craving connection. You wanted warmth, not friction. Love, not lust. Presence, not performance. But when life didn't give you those things, you turned to fantasy. Because in fantasy, you control the narrative. You're wanted, you're powerful, you're never rejected. But here's the cost: you stop showing up for the real world. You lose the ability to sit in awkward silence, to endure longing, to build something with someone, to fail in front of love and try again anyway. Lust teaches you escape, not courage, not patience, not resilience. Over time, you stop feeling your emotions fully. You stop seeing people as whole. You start mistaking attention for love and stimulation for intimacy. This is what Jung feared most, because lust, when disconnected from the soul, doesn't just distort how you see others, it breaks how you see yourself. At first, it's small. You stop making eye contact. You avoid deep conversations. You retreat into fantasies that feel safer than reality. You smile in public but feel numb inside. Then it gets worse. You lose motivation not just sexually but in life. You stop writing, you stop building, you stop creating. Because lust, when indulged mindlessly, consumes the same fire meant to fuel your purpose. It becomes your shortcut to aliveness, but the cost is your soul. This isn't just a psychological problem, it's a spiritual crisis. Every religion, every wisdom tradition warns of the soul-killing power of lust. Not because pleasure is evil, but because lust, when it becomes your god, makes you forget who you are. It makes you a slave to your own shadow, a prisoner of your own hunger. In Christianity, lust is called a deadly sin, not because God hates pleasure, but because lust destroys your ability to love, to see, to be present. St. August. Tyne said, lust indulged becomes a tyrant. It twists your will, clouds your mind, and severs your connection to the divine. It turns you inward, away from others, away from God, away from your own soul. But it's not just Christianity. In Buddhism, lust is one of the 3 poisons that keep you trapped in suffering. In Islam, lust is seen as a force that blinds the heart and leads you away from peace. In Hinduism, uncontrolled desire is the root of all bondage. Across cultures, across centuries, the message is the same. Lust, when it rules you, kills your soul, regardless of your religion. And you know this deep down, you felt it. The more you chase, the less you feel. The more you consume, the more you starve. The more you escape, the more you lose yourself. Lust doesn't just keep you from love, it keeps you from becoming you. It robs you of creative energy, of attention span, of soul depth, of spiritual clarity. And the longer it goes on, the more you start to wonder, why don't I feel anything anymore? That's the consequence, not shame, not hell, not punishment, but numbness. And Jung would argue that is worse than pain, because when you're numb, you stop evolving, you stop listening, you stop hearing the voice inside you that says, this isn't who I came here to be. Let's look at the world around us. Lust is everywhere. It's in the ads, the movies, the music, the apps. We live in a culture that profits from our disconnection, that sells us the illusion of intimacy while feeding our deepest loneliness. The more we seek fulfillment outside ourselves, the more we lose touch with our own soul. But Jung's message is timeless. Integration is possible. The reunion of all your lost pieces, the return to the self, the courage to look at your own emptiness and not run from it, this is the path to wholeness. When you stop asking, who turns me on, and start asking, what part of me have I turned off, everything changes. Looking ahead, the challenge will be to resist the pull of distraction and choose depth over dopamine, to build a daily relationship with your own soul, to see every craving as a message, not a mistake. If you want to explore this further, I recommend reading Jung's Red Book or diving into the works of other depth psychologists. The journey is long, but it's the only one that leads home. So let's recap. Lust isn't just a feeling, it's a signal, a warning that your soul is starving. It's not about shame, it's about wholeness. When you choose presence over escape, when you face your own emptiness with courage, you begin the journey back to yourself. You don't need to repress desire, you just need to listen. You don't need to hate yourself to heal. You just need to ask, what is this craving trying to teach me about me? If this resonated with you, subscribe, and share your story in the comments. What have you really been craving all along? And remember, you were never addicted to them. You were addicted to the feeling of being whole. Now give that back to yourself. Thank you for watching. Stay present, stay whole, and I'll see you in the next one.